Okay, hello. Now we are back. Hello, beautiful people. Hello, 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 hello. All right, so we are officially recording. Um, I always record all of my lives, so if you miss any of it, it will go on YouTube after this, so you can find all of my lives on YouTube. And I am excited. How do you find out? Oh, this is my first time. Um, I think she was just saying this is her first time here. Oh, it's beautiful. So many first timers. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Well, welcome. I hope that you feel at home. I hope that you feel loved. My intention always is that everyone feels so loved, so wanted, so adored that you can't help but to spread more love out into the world. As I stated, I'm Jen Rose Giannetti. I'm a transcendental love coach helping people to awaken back into unconditional love, awaken back into the transcendental spiritual realm, and to feel home with it. So I have an announcement to make before we get started, and I'm so excited. I'm going to mention this multiple times. This is not going to be the first time I mention this. But I am super excited. If you have been with me before, you've probably heard me say a million times now, and I can officially announce that I have a brand new course here on Insight Timer. And the course is called Heal Heartbreak, Find Love. And it's designed for anyone who is going through a breakup, anyone who's going through a little bit of heartache, anyone that's going through a little bit of pain and hurt, and you're looking to manifest, to bring in, to call in your divine partner. This beautiful, I worked my little tushy off on this course. It was originally a 3-month program, a 3-month group coaching program that I turned into a recorded course here on Insight Timer. So I'm super excited. It's officially launched. It's officially on the platform. I don't think it's public yet, but if you follow that link here on Insight Timer, then that's going to take you right to it. So check that out. I'm super excited for that. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're feeling about that. Yes, it was the first time with me. I checked what was going on live and picked this one. Yay! Well, welcome. So today we're going to be talking all about deepening our connection, embracing our authenticity with ourselves, with our relationships. And I love this subject. I love talking about how do we become authentic? How can we become more vulnerable in our relationships? How can we do that within ourselves? And so today we're going to dive right in where I'm going to guide you, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to coach you, I'm going to help you to tap into the power of your authenticity and your vulnerability in enhancing your relationships. We're going to explore communication techniques and emotional intimacy and how to build trust and how to uncover the keys to nurturing those meaningful connections. So I'm super excited. The way that my lives go is I usually chat for the first 5 minutes like I already have. And now I'm going to lead us into an opening circle, an opening connection meditation. It's usually 1 minute, 2 minutes, not long, just to open up all of us into communication with one another. I then will go into the talk. I ask you guys to please talk to me, please communicate with me, don't leave me hanging. All of you is welcome here today, whether you're happy, whether you're at joy, whether you are raging with anger, or you're sad, or you're upset, or you're frustrated. All of you is welcome here. Please communicate with me. Please put it in the chat. Please talk to me. Ask me questions. After I do the talk, I would then open it up to question and answer. So if you have any questions that you would like answered, then I will answer those, and then I will lead us into a meditation. So part 1 is, and then closing circle. So part 1 is opening circle, part 2 is the talk, part 3 is question and answer, part 4 is meditation, and then closing circle. So I'm excited. Let's check out the chat. Yes, I found Jenna's summer. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for that compliment, Milan. She's very intuitive and an energy booster. Beautiful, thank you. All right, guys, so just out of fun, before we get started, I want you to put in the chat, are you a coffee drinker or are you a tea drinker? I need to see where everyone's at with their coffee tea intake. Are you a coffee drinker or are you a tea drinker? I'm a coffee drinker. Yes, Emily, I'm with you. Yes. I mean, I love my tea too. Don't get me wrong, I love my tea, but we got to stop this chat off right. Coffee or tea? All right, guys. Now I'm going to invite us to just close down our eyes for just a moment. And just start to take a deep breath in through your nose. Taking a deep breath out through your mouth. And let go of anything that happened before this moment. Coming into true presence. Coming into true love. And just think for a minute, what does true love feel like for you? What would true love for yourself look like? What would true love for others look like? And breathe in. And breathe out. Let go of anything that's going to happen after this moment. Coming into deep presence. Becoming truly present. Breathing into this moment. And breathing out. And just start to imagine now that there's a warm, bright, crystalline light that is shining down on you, ready to reign over your day, to light up your day, your night, your evening, whatever time it is for you. And imagine that this light is coming down to pour into you authenticness, vulnerability, love, and connection. Feel this light pouring down in through the crown of your head, down through the soles of your feet, into Mother Earth, awakening you to your true form, your true power. And on the next inhale, I want you to imagine that we are all gathered here together in a conscious circle. Everyone that is on this live right now, everyone that will watch this live later on YouTube, imagine that we're all gathered. And for a moment, just imagine that we're all holding hands. You can either physically put your hands out in the position as if you were holding hands, or just keep your hands to yourself. And just imagine that you're holding hands, creating this conscious circle of authenticness, vulnerability, love. And as you stand in this circle with all of these beautiful light beings, take a moment to acknowledge the light of everyone that's here. Just as the light that you are, that you just anchored into your own being. See everyone's unique in the light. See everyone's unique character. And allow your light to be seen. Allow your light to be known. Allow your voice to be heard. Allow all of you to be here. This is the first step in being our authentic and vulnerable self. Being so authentically us that we are seen just as we are. Whether our light is currently bright or our light is currently dim and gloom. Being vulnerable enough to say, this is me. This is how I am. This is how I feel. I am angry. I am sad. I am in rage. I am in joy. I am in happiness. I am scared. I am fearful. Allow all parts of you to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, to be nurtured. When you reveal yourself vulnerably, the world will do the same. And how does it feel to acknowledge everyone else's uniqueness, their authenticness, their vulnerability, and all of their feels, their loves, their joys, their pleasures? Acknowledge their light. And take a deep breath into your light that you anchored into your body. And on the next exhale, I want you to breathe this light that you are through every single being in this circle. Imagine your light sending to everyone to the right of you. Your light, you're sending to everyone to the left of you. So that everyone is sending light, receiving light, sending love, receiving love, sending connection, receiving connection. This light of saying, I see you, I love you, I accept you. I see you, I love you, I accept you. All of you. And filling up this whole circle of light like a beautiful sun itself. Take just a moment to just breathe in this light, healing every aspect of you, healing all of your pains, healing all of your joys. And notice how you feel. Take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. And when you're ready, start to come back into this space. Notice what you can feel. Notice what you can taste. Notice what you can heal. Notice what you can smell. And finally open up your eyes and notice what you can see. Notice how different the world would be if we allowed all of our authenticness to shine. If we revealed all of us without fear and in fear. How different would it be if we really showed our authenticness? If we really were vulnerable with where we are at and who we are? How do you feel? So today's intention, please communicate with me, please talk to me. I also need to grab Kleenex real quick. Pardon me. Okay, I apologize. Please accept me as I am. I don't know about you guys, but I have been experiencing major allergies this year. And I can't seem to break the allergies. So, if I sniffle, please forgive me. All right, guys. So, talk to me, communicate with me. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. Today's intention is deepening our connection, coming into vulnerability, embracing our authenticness so that we can deepen our relationships. So the first part of this is understanding authentic connections. It means understanding, what does it mean to be authentic? What does it mean to be authentic? What does true authenticity look like? How do you define it? Put it in the chat. So to me, being authentic means to fully be ourselves, to completely show up just as we are. Right now, if you noticed, I don't have makeup on. I didn't purposely design that based off of today's, talk, but it's funny how that kind of just happened. But this right here, my face, is authentic. I'm not faking what I look like and making my eyelashes longer than they are with mascara and changing my lip color. I'm being vulnerable in this moment by revealing my true face, literally and metaphorically. Show up just as you are and not wish others would see. Yeah. Authentic means you show up at a friend's house and say, "Want to know what? I don't feel great. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm angry. This is where I'm at." Authenticness and vulnerability looks like showing up so hyper and so happy and in so much joy. All of you. Completely as you are. And I relate this to the inner child. If you've been following me for a while, or some of you guys have actually done coaching sessions with me, a lot of what I do is awakening and connecting us back to our inner child. Because our inner child is completely authentic. Our inner child is completely vulnerable. Our child version of ourselves would throw temper tantrums in the supermarket. Our child would dance and play no matter where they're at. Our inner child didn't wait for someone to ask us a question before we started talking. Our child gave compliments and joy and love. So when you ask yourself, what does it mean to be authentic and vulnerable? Think about, what is it like for a child? What were you like when you were a child? So with this definition, it's important that we embrace our true oneness. It's important to embrace our authenticness. My cat is sitting on this desk. I don't know if any of you guys missed that, but his tail keeps wagging. He's being his authentic self. I'm petting him, if you were wondering what I'm doing with my hand this whole time. And so if you notice, he keeps knocking stuff with his tail off the desk. So if you were wondering what's happening, that's what's happening. So it's important for us to be our true self. And it's important for us to embrace our vulnerability. The reason for this is, in my opinion, and take what resonates and throw away what doesn't, but I think the world would be a much better place if we just showed up as we are, without a mask, without needing to become something that we're not, without trying to pretend to be a certain way or not be a certain way. To just show up and be raw and open and honest in all of our emotions and all of our feelings and all of our joys and all of our fears. How much better of a world would we live in if we embraced the world in that way? I'm very shy, so I'd like to be able to show my silly fun side all the time. Yeah. So my question for you, Melanie, is why are you fearful to show that silly side? What do you feel you will lose if you showed that silly side? Where did this shy girl come from? Where did this feel come from? And I would invite you, I would bet my life that it came from that inner child. It came from that inner child that was so silly and so playful and so fun and so hyper and so loving. And then all of a sudden you got shh, shh, quiet down, Melanie, shh, don't talk, shh, no, don't do that. Quiet up. Don't reveal yourself. You're being too loud. And so what I want you to realize is that our characters, we became our characters as a trauma response. I'm going to say that again. And I really hope that hits home. No matter what your personality is, no matter what your character is, it's all a trauma response to keep us safe. So whether you're shy or whether you're really extroverted, both of them were a trauma response to get our needs met, to be heard, to be seen, to not be seen, to not be heard. And so I would invite you to go back to that child, Melanie, and allow her to dance. Allow her to play, to literally imagine your inner child in front of you. Take a picture of you when you were a kid. Talk to her, journal with her, and say, I accept you just as you are. And mommy and daddy might not have accepted you. The teachers didn't accept you. But the truth is, they silenced you. They quieted you because that was their own trauma response. That was their own fear speaking. They were scared to be heard. They were scared to be seen. And so scared people scare people, right? We've heard the response of hurt people, hurt people. Scared people scare people. It's the same. And so we have to nurture back these parts of ourselves that were fearful of being our authentic self, of being vulnerable. We have to heal those parts of us. And I want to tell you that this part of you that's not shy is beautiful. And this part of you that is shy is also beautiful. So the first step is we have to become authentic and vulnerable for ourselves. We have to be able to be authentic by ourselves, to dance, to play, to laugh, alone, before we can reveal that part to others and connections. So before we can dance in a crowded room at a party, we have to be able to dance by ourselves. And when we can be completely authentic and vulnerable for ourselves, then it's going to come natural to become vulnerable and authentic with other people. It comes back to self-love. What would someone who really loves themselves do? So that's step one, is becoming authentic and vulnerable for ourselves. Step two is, how do we bring this into relationships? So when you can fully, completely show up as you are, then, and you accept yourself as you are, the world's going to accept you as you are. When you can accept the part of you that is shy, the world's going to accept you when you're shy. If you can accept that maybe you're not the greatest dancer, but you really love to dance, the world's going to accept you for how you dance. And the truth is, everyone is so concerned with what they're thinking, no one's really looking at us as much as we think they are. So once we accept ourselves, we can then move into authentic connections and authentic relationships with other people by being vulnerable and open about how we feel, our truth, our needs, our desires, our wants. And we do this through communication, with trust, emotional intimacy, in relationships. We have to be willing to show our completely naked, vulnerable skin. Our most intimate relationships are romantic partners. I always say you can either go to therapy for 30 years or you can just get into a romantic relationship. And I'll look at the chat in a minute. I just want to say this point. I haven't read through it yet, but we can either go to therapy for 30 years or we can just get in a relationship. Because our relationships are meals to us. They're going to show us all of our goodness and all of our love. And they're going to show us all of our chaos and all of the ways that we need improvements. And true intimacy, true relationships, is to be able to get completely naked, to be able to open up the kimono and say, this is who I am. This is my body. This is my heart. These are my emotions. These are my feelings. These are my feels. These are my joys. These are my loves. These are my hates. Can you accept me? A relationship, we cannot have a relationship. And I'm using the example of a kimono or a robe or the shirt or whatever. It's not literal. But we can't, we're often going through our lives all clothed, hiding ourselves, hiding our true skin, hiding our vulnerability, hiding our authenticness. And true love for self, true love for others, means opening up our kimono, metaphorically, and saying, this is who I am. These are my feels. And when we are able to do that, the other person is going to open up their kimono. And they're going to say, this is my naked skin. These are my emotions. These are my feelings. These are my feels. And so many of us are just waiting for that scene in that movie where the other person is holding the gun up to draw first. Be willing to make the first move. Be willing to get vulnerable first. Be willing to be authentic first. Because when you show who you are, when you get vulnerable, you allow other people to show who they are. You allow others to be vulnerable about who they are. If you express, hey, I'm really scared right now. I don't know what's going on in the world. And, everything's on fire. And we went through this pandemic a couple years ago. And honestly, I'm scared shitless. Other people feel that too. And in you being vulnerable and you being open and you being honest and communicating your truth, you open up a line of vulnerability for other people to be like, hey, I feel the same way too. You mean I'm not crazy for being fearful? You mean I'm not crazy for feeling alone? Because so much of what we're feeling and what we're experiencing, other people are experiencing that too. But we get in our heads and we think that we are the only person who has feel. We think we're the only people who have grief. We think we're the only ones in this world with all of these emotions and baggage and feelings and insecurities. But we're not. We're not. So be vulnerable enough to be like, well, you know what? I don't know the answer. I'm coaching you guys, okay? I'm here. I'm teaching you guys. And I can be vulnerable and I can be honest. Some days, guys, I feel like I got it all together. I'll be honest. Some days I'm like, I'm on my path. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm teaching. I know where I'm headed. And other times in my life, I'm lost. I'm lost and I don't know what the path is and I don't know where I'm going and I'm in a maze. And I'm not here, guys, to say I'm in this maze and I know how to get out of this maze. No, I'm in this maze with you guys, lost and confused just as you are. And all I'm doing is saying, oh, hey guys, guess, I found a way, follow me, I found an easier way out of this maze. I found a way, follow me, let's get out of this maze together. It's not me over the maze being like, haha, I see the whole way up. No. It means on one step, I found one path, and I'm literally just trying to show you the one path that I found. And you could come in, Mian, and say, ooh, I found this other path. And I would say, ooh, he found a path too. Let's go that path. Because just as I'm leading you guys out in the maze, you're leading me out in the maze too. And it's synergy. We have to come into synergy about it. So I don't have it all figured out. But some days I think I have a good enough lens that I can lead a talk on Insight Timer. So we have to get vulnerable and naked. I'm quite open in myself, and when I'm with close friends with but I find it so hard when someone's new to me. Like now with a man I'm dating, I'm so insecure and I don't know what to tell him about my feelings for him. So I would ask you, I'm like, what are you fearful of? What are you scared might happen? Are you scared that if you tell him how you feel, that he's going to be like, ooh, her feelings are too much for me and she likes me too much and she loves me too much? When has anyone ever complained about being loved? Anyone out there, have you ever said, ooh, someone loves me too much? No, people might say, hey, they're a little bit too needy, they're a little too clingy, but no one ever in the history that I've known, tell me if I'm wrong, please tell me if I'm wrong, has ever said, I don't want love, I don't want to be liked, I don't want to be cared for. No! We're all walking around saying, love me, love me, love me, love me, like me, like me, like me, care for me, care for me, care for me. But before we can tell the man that you're dating, hey, I love you, I care about you, you have to be willing to say, Emily, if I'm saying your name right, I love Emily. I care for Emily. And whether I tell this man I love him and it's too soon for him and it scares him, I still love myself. And I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. I have nothing to lose and I have everything to gain. And that's the attitude that we have to walk around with. Is if we open up our kimono and we get naked and someone doesn't like what they see, but want to know what? Someone else will. Someone else will like all of you. They will love all of you. They're going to ravish in your silliness and your playfulness and your joy. And every single partner, I made this in my Heartbreak Healing course. If you heard, it's officially announced, my Heartbreak Healing course. I talked about how there's no such thing as a failed relationship. Our society has told us that this is a failed relationship, and if you don't last 50 years, that's a failed relationship. Well, I'm going to tell you that everyone that you meet for a reason. At least my belief is we meet for a reason. Even if it's that I just ran to someone at the grocery store and we had a 2-second talk, everyone is here to give us some kind of lesson, some kind of message, some kind of teaching. We're here to teach others, to give others lessons, to give others a message. And when we enter into relationships, the relationship ends when we've taught as much as we've taught, and when they've taught as much as they've taught, and when the lesson has been learned. And the reason that we get into painful relationships is because we cling to relationships when the lesson has actually already been learned. The teaching has already been learned. And so, what was I saying? I was saying that, so when there's no such thing as failed relationship, because every relationship leads to the next great relationship. And that relationship that you just had, Emily, that relationship that you had before this man, that man before led you to this man. You needed to become everything that you needed to become in that relationship to attract this man now. That old man, that old lover, that past partner molded you and shaped you into the Emily that you needed to be to have this new great love. Because if that man didn't shape you into who you are now, you wouldn't attract the man that you have now. So there's no such thing as failure. So when we are open and expressive and we come into this thing of, I have nothing to lose and I have everything to gain, it makes our relationships a lot less tenseful. It makes it a lot easier. There's a lot less pressure. Yeah. So where is the feel coming from, Emily? What is the feel? Tell me, put in the chat, what is the feel? There's a book being known as 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. Talk about what you're talking. Oh, really? I'll have to write that down. I didn't know that. Yes, tell him what you feel. Don't lose it. So kind of yeah. Beautiful. So, moving on. I'm passionate. So once we can be authentic, we can then improve our communication to be able to say anything that we feel, to be open and honest. The truth is, you can say anything. It's not about the words. It's about the way in which you say it. Okay? So I could literally, to my fiance, I could literally say, I feel unloved right now. Or I could say, I feel unloved right now. Same words, two different tones. And so being authentic and being vulnerable with ourselves means I'm going to open up my kimono. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be open. And I'm also going to take responsibility for the way in which I speak. You can say anything you want to say. But it's how in which we communicate it. I'm turning the air on. It's getting a little hot in here. I feel, do you mean vulnerable? Or vulnerable? My current partner is the first one where I'm not, yeah. So allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself, because why know what? What if he's feeling? Put yourself in his shoes. What if he's feeling how you're feeling? And he's scared to be vulnerable. What advice would you give to him? Would you say, just tell me how you feel? What do you want to hear from him? Because I promise whatever you want to hear from him, whatever you want from him, he wants that from you too. Yeah. Oh, beautiful, Jasmine. So we have to have self-awareness and self-acceptance in order to become aware and accept others. We have to be able, it's 11:11 on the clock for me, everyone. Make a wish. It means alignment. 11:11. Beautiful. So before, we have to have self-awareness and we have to have self-acceptance before we can be aware of other people's uniqueness, other people's authenticity, other people's vulnerabilities, and to accept them as they are. You have to be able, Emily, to accept and love yourself even though you feel a little scared, even though you feel vulnerable. Can you love that part of you? Can you love that little girl inside of you that is scared to express herself? Can you hold her? Can you love her? Can you rock her and say, that's okay? That's okay. Can you tell her that she's willing and should be loved? That she's lovable and that she's worthy and that she's wanted? We have to first cultivate self-awareness and self-acceptance for ourselves. And the way in which we do this is we have to be able to go into self-discovery. And self-discovery means embracing all of us. Embracing our strengths, embracing our weaknesses. I truly believe that every single one of us came to this planet for nothing more than the discovery. I don't think there's actually anything that we have to do on this planet. There's things we choose to do. There's things we want to do. I believe that our purpose is something that we choose to be our purpose. But I don't, and I could be wrong and, throw away what doesn't. But I don't know if we come into this life with saying, this is going to be my purpose. And maybe we do, maybe we don't. But your purpose changes throughout your life. Right? If you were in school and, when you were a student, you were a kid, your purpose may have been like, hey, I just need to get through school. I want to go to college. My purpose is to go to college. Okay, then you're in college and your purpose is to get your dream job, to help the world. And then along the line, maybe you meet someone and you end up getting pregnant, and your purpose ends up being a mother, being a father. And then you have your mother, you have your child, and they grow up, and then you go back to your career and you're like, ooh, I got to become bigger. And now my purpose on this planet is to write books and to influence people in karate. I'm making stuff up. Our purpose changes over time. And we have to be willing to have self-discovery. Which means we have to be able to embrace our strengths and our weaknesses. So many of us are only embracing our strengths. So many of us only want to look at the things that are good. But we have to embrace our weaknesses as well. And when we can embrace our own weaknesses, when we can embrace, yeah, I know what, I am insecure. And maybe I'm insecure because maybe it's an inner child wound, or maybe I'm insecure because it's, all of this pain from past relationships where I've gotten hurt. But I embrace it. Literally embrace it, hold it, love it, care for it. And when you embrace your shadow, when you embrace your weaknesses, your shadow, your weaknesses, your insecurities is only coming out because it's saying, look at me, love me, love me, love me. When you literally put light on the darkness, on the shadow, it goes away. You create light. So shine light on the shadow. Shine light on the darkness. And also recognize that the darkness is good. Recognize that the night sky wouldn't be beautiful if there wasn't the stars shining through. Recognize that the most romantic moments of our life were in the darkness. So embrace it. And once we can do this within ourselves, we can then do this with other people. We can then embrace other people's insecurities. We can embrace other people's weaknesses. We can embrace other people's darkness. But we can't do that if we can't first do that for ourselves. We have to be able to have open communication. We have to be able to explore the importance of open and honest communication and building authentic connections. This looks like active listening. This looks like expressing your emotions, sharing your vulnerabilities. You can't be in a relationship if you can't open up your kimono. Last night I was laying in bed with my fiance, and I'm like a child when it comes to me being when I'm tired, I'm like a child. Like I'm emotional, I'm ridiculous, and I literally laid in bed just crying about my feels and crying about my insecurities. And we have to be willing to do that, to have the joyful relationship that we want. We have to be able to go into the darkness and express our feels openly and honestly, to have the joy-filled love, to have the love that lasts. The love that lasts is not always filled with rainbows and butterflies. There's also caves you have to go through. There's also mountains you have to climb. we have to have emotional intimacy and trust. So emotional intimacy is everything that we've talked about. So the way in which one tool that I really want to, because I know I'm giving you guys a lot right now, but one tool to deepen your emotional intimacy is literally eye contact. It's so simple, yet so often we don't do it. When you're having big discussions with your partner, keeping eye gazing and just holding hands, keeping connections. Our nervous systems regulate with each other. And so when we're having these big conversations of insecurities or fears, make eye contact, hold hands with your partner, and discuss whatever's at hand. Nurture your connection. You can still be unhappy with your partner. You can still be angry at your partner. You can still be frustrated at your partner and still stay in connection with them. You can hold hands with your partner and stare into their eyes and say, "Want to know what? I'm angry at you right now. And I feel frustrated with you right now. And I feel unseen with you right now." And notice that by simply holding hands, making eye contact, while saying that, how different the energy will be than if you don't hold hands, if you don't make eye contact, if you're going around and say, "I'm so angry at you right now, and I'm so frustrated at you right now, and I don't feel seen by you. I'm so angry at you right now. I'm so frustrated at you right now. I don't feel seen by you right now." There's communication in the non-vocal communication. In the non-verbal communication, it's what you're saying non-verbally is, "I'm so angry. I'm so frustrated. I don't feel seen right now, but I'm still willing to connect with you. I still love you. I still care about you. I'm still in this relationship. I'm still going to hold you." We have to be willing to have this emotional intimacy, to have these communications, and to nurture our relationships. One of my greatest, what would I call it? I don't know if I'd call it a weakness, but my greatest thing that I'm working on, and I'll get vulnerable, I'll get naked, I'll get raw, I'll get open, I'll get honest, is I'm engaged, I love my fiance, and there's this little voice inside my head that every time there's a rough patch in our relationship, I want to run away. My response is always, I gotta leave this relationship. I need to go to Sedona. I need to get on a plane. I need to leave. I have this inner child inside me that when the going gets rough, I want to leave. I want to run away. And it could be the most simple thing in the world. But that's my coping mechanism. My coping mechanism when I was a child and there was all this pain and stuff going on is just go, Jenna. Just run away. Avoid the situation. Don't put yourself in the drama. And so in our relationships, in my relationship, this is me getting raw and vulnerable with you guys, I've had to hold that part of me that wants to run away and tell her that she's safe to stay. She's safe to stay. Because the inner me, the inner child, the vulnerable part of me doesn't feel safe to stay. But the grown-up me, the wise me, she knows she's safe to stay. And I have to nurture that inner child. And when I nurture that part of me, then I can nurture my relationship. And I just said to my fiance the other day, I said, I don't know if it's healthy, because I've heard people say in relationships, and if you have any advice and you're married, please feel free to give it, and I'll get through the comments in a minute. I've heard people say that in relationships, you need to close off all exits. You have to close off all exits. And you have to be like, we're not leaving. We're going to work through this. We're going to get through this. And I said to my fiance the other day, I said, I don't know if that's healthy or unhealthy. I don't know if it's healthy to be like, well, I know what, we're in this relationship. Let's close off all of the exits. We're here to stay. Or if it's unhealthy, because then we're sabotaging each other's growth to if there's something outside the exit that's better for us. I don't have the answer. That's my vulnerable, honest, open truth. I don't know. But what I do know is that when we have these conversations with our partners, when we have these vulnerable, open, honest communications with our partners and say, I don't have the answer, but this is me, it makes our connections with others that much more powerful. Because there's no secrets, there's no hiding. There is no running away. Because we're showing all of us. And we have to have empathy and understanding. We have to have empathy for ourselves. We have to have empathy for other people. Empathy is essential to building our authentic, vulnerable connections. Empathy, compassion, kindness. I don't think it's our job to understand each other. We all want to be understood. But I think what we really want is to just have someone empathize. My fiance might not know why I'm crying. He might not be able to understand it. But he can still hold space for me. Yesterday we were talking about my distractions and my inability to focus. And my fiance said to me, Jenna, I don't understand. This was an actual conversation. He said, I don't understand what it's like to not be able to focus. I don't get it. But he held me as I cried over it. He held space for me. And so lastly, the importance of authenticness and vulnerability is being able to honor boundaries and mutual respect. The boundaries, and this was the hardest thing for me, and maybe it's the hardest thing for you as well, is you have to establish boundaries in your relationships. What's allowed, what's not allowed, and recognizing that boundaries change. Another example is last night. I told you guys I was crying in bed. I was insecure. I was like a child. There was actually no problems in me and my fiance's relationship right now, but I was just overly exhausted making up stuff. Who relates with that? Who relates to being so overly exhausted that you're literally creating mountains over fucking wormholes? Excuse my language. That was me last night. I look back. I woke up this morning. I was like, why was I crying? There was nothing to cry about. There's no problems. But anyways, I kept wanting to talk. Me and my fiance both know that him and I don't do well when we're tired. Him and I both know that nighttime before we go to sleep is not a great time for us to literally dissect every single thing in our relationship. We know that. We've established that. We've talked about it. We've communicated it. Yet last night, my inner child came out to play, and my insecurities came out to play, and I wanted to have a conversation while we were laying in bed trying to fall asleep. And he had to gently, he kept saying, Jenna, I don't want to talk about this right now, Jenna. I just want to go to bed. We could talk about this in the morning. We both know that we don't do well at nighttime. He kept trying to re-encourage me in a kind of way of like, Jenna, we can talk about this in the morning. Like, I love you. I care about you. Like, let's just go to bed. It will be better in the morning. And my inner child kept talking. My inner child kept crying. And then he said, Jenna, boundaries. My boundary right now is I want to go to bed. He had to remind me, and I can be open and honest to say that I didn't realize I was overstepping the boundary. He kept telling me last night, His boundary was, Jenna, I need sleep. But I kept violating that until he reminded me, Jenna, boundaries. And it's something that I worked really, 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 really hard on last year. It was my whole theme of 2022 was boundaries. And he said that, and I was like, oh, you're right. And I apologized, said, you're right. I wasn't honoring your boundaries. I understand. Being vulnerable and being intimate and being authentic means also recognizing where we are doing something wrong. Well, we might be the, not bad guy, but I'm going to say bad guy in the situation. And being able to own up to that, to apologize for that. We have to be able to communicate and honor each other's needs and boundaries, or relationships are not going to work. So, in conclusion, we talked about lots of juiciness. I just want to go through the points real quick, and then I'm going to read through the chat. And if you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat. But the essence of everything we've talked about is, in order to deepen our connections and our relationships, we have to first be able and be willing to be authentic. And we have to be able and be willing to be vulnerable, to be seen when we don't want to be seen. And the first step in doing that is being willing to see ourselves, being vulnerable for ourselves, honoring our own authenticness, honoring our own uniqueness, being able to love ourselves no matter what we see in the mirror. And when we can be completely authentic and vulnerable with ourselves, then the next step is we can be vulnerable and authentic with other people, and we can accept other people's vulnerability and other people's authentic and other people's uniqueness. But it has to first come from self. We have to be willing to have self-awareness and self-acceptance. We have to be able to have the really difficult conversations and communications. We have to be able to get messy. Remember the child who loved to roll around in the mud. Remember the child who loved to play with paint and splatter paint all over the place. Get messy. Be messy. Say, I don't have the answer. I don't know the answers. And be okay with that. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop trying to color in the lines and just say, you know what? I'm going to color outside the lines right now. Have emotional intimacy and know how you're feeling. Express how you're feeling. And have trust that it's all going to work out. Be willing to nurture your connection with yourself so that you can nurture your connection with others. Have empathy for yourself when you are crying like I was last night and my inner child came out to play. Have empathy for that part of you that is fearful and scared and vulnerable, and have empathy for that part of you that is scared to share to your new partner how you feel. Hold that part of you. Embrace that part of you. Love that part of you. And be willing to go into the darkness. Have deeper understanding. And honor your own boundaries. Respect yourself so that you can honor others' boundaries and respect others. So, that's what I have for you guys. I want to read through all of these beautiful comments now. I apologize, DM, for not getting back to you, but I'm going to read it now. What questions do you have? Okay, so DM, 19 minutes ago. I'm sorry it took me so long. You said authenticity leads to being able to say anything. When you're in a deep space of pain, it's very challenging to open up. My husband of 30 years said he feels the same as I do. But what about when there's betrayal and you're just coming to terms with the destruction that happened with that awakening it caused? Then how is it possible to navigate how to actually address the underlying issues and trauma that allowed the erosion to occur? Yeah, beautiful, 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 beautiful. I think it just starts with just a simple acknowledgement of how you feel. Without pointing fingers. Just saying, I feel betrayed. I feel that our relationship has become destructive. I want to navigate and address these issues and traumas. And I don't exactly know how to navigate it. But I want to try. Your ability to be open and honest when you know the answer and you don't know the answer is authentic. It's vulnerable. A child doesn't know how to ride a bike until we teach it how to ride a bike. So ask yourself, what would your inner child do? What advice would your inner child tell you? Honor the deep pain that you feel. Honor the part of you that's very challenging to open up. And acknowledge that to your husband and you. Of saying, it's really hard for me to open up right now because I'm scared of being betrayed. It's hard for me to open up right now because I'm scared of being seen. I'm scared to open up right now because I'm scared I'm going to be hurt again. But wanna know what? I'm going to do this not only for you, but for my own growth, for my own evolution, for my own expansion, because I know that me closing down is only hurting me, and in response is hurting us. So I'm going to open up my kimono right now. It's going to be messy. It may look ugly. There might be some baggage and some extra pounds when I open up my kimono. But this is me. This is where I'm at. This is how I feel. This is what I'm experiencing. And when you open up your kimono and you get naked and you get open, it gives the other person permission to open up as well. It gives your husband the ability to open up too and say, you know what? I feel betrayed too, and I feel hurt too, and I feel this, all of this too, and I don't know how to navigate this either. You can either be lost in a maze by yourself, or you can be lost in a maze with a partner. Two brains trying to get out of the maze. Two brains trying to get out of the labyrinth. 4 legs, 4 feet, 4 hands is a lot more powerful than 2. So be willing to say, I don't know the answer. I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know how to stop hating you. Be willing and vulnerable to be like, well, you know what? I hate you right now. I genuinely hate you right now. I don't like you right now. I'm angry at you right now. And also recognize that the hatred that you may feel, the betrayal that you feel, is actually love. Underneath all the muck and the yuckiness and the darkness is actually love. Because you can't hate someone you don't love. You can't. You can't. Hate and love is the same on opposite spectrums. The reason that you hate, and I don't know if you actually hate, I'm just making something up. I'm using something real triggering, or betrayal, is because there was deep love. You feel betrayed because you really gave all of your love to your husband. You gave him all of you. And you felt like he didn't hold your love like a child, like a baby, like nurturing and holding a baby. You feel like he dropped it. Be vulnerable and open. I want to read through the other comments. Let me know if that helps. Thank you so much. I feel a bit brave now. Yay! And all of those things, coincident as they happen at the same time and without resources, it made it so incredibly difficult. Yeah. You're such a beautiful way and style of your expression. Thank you. It hurts to relive the time period. And I feel like I want all of the things, but with someone else who will truly see me for all of me, not just what I can do for them. I'm going to read through all this and then I'm going to respond. Yes, the empathy was broken and I didn't actually want to, I'm going to go point by point, otherwise I'll lose it. You said it hurts to relive that time period. And I feel like I want all of the things, but with someone else who will truly see you for all of me, not just for what I can do for them. So I want to ask you, are you seeing all of you? Are you seeing all that you are? Instead of what you can do. Instead of you being in action mode. Instead of you doing all these things? Can you accept yourself? Can you see yourself? Because the truth is, DM, you can leave this relationship. You have two choices. Either you can be with this partner and you can live all of this and experience all this and work through the lesson, or you can leave the partner and you'll find someone else that you have to work through the same exact lesson with. Different face, different place, same situation. Whatever energy that we leave a relationship in, we move into the next relationship. It is vital and important that you leave a relationship in a good place, if you can, because then you move into the next relationship in that same space. Every relationship is a building block on top of another. Every single one. And so if you want a relationship with someone who sees you for all that you are and accepts you in all that you are and not just what you can do for them, you have to start right where you're at. And you start right where you're at by first giving yourself that love. By first seeing yourself for just as you are and not just what you can do. Not only loving yourself when you bring in the big bucks. Not only loving and seeing yourself when you go for that mile run and you look great in the mirror. But being willing to see all of yourself. Yeah. Beautiful. I'm going to read through all these comments. Yes, emotional intimacy was broken. I didn't realize the effect of that. I get that I want to nurture the connection with myself and release the wake up of despair and destruction that being so in the moment with another man and needing to please him. I don't know that I can ever do it again if he wants bisexuality, as it makes me feel like I can't possibly have the tools, literally, for true satisfaction. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I feel that so deeply. I feel that so, so deeply. And I can tell you, I've been there. I can honestly, vulnerably, raw. And first off, I want to acknowledge, everyone, please acknowledge how beautiful this vulnerability, this authenticness, this openness that DM has had in the chat. Can we please acknowledge that for a minute, everyone? And like, this is beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. If you're able to do this, heal. You can do this in your relationships. It's this feel that we can't satisfy. That's the real feel. If you could satisfy your husband, then would it matter if he was bisexual? If he still loved you and he came home to you and still wanted to make love to you and still hold you and still take care of you and he gave you all of that, would it matter? It's this feel of not being able to satisfy people. And like I said, I've been there. I experienced that. And the way in which I got through it, and it may or may not be yours, but the way in which I got through it is by accepting my fiance just as he is. And it wasn't bisexual, it wasn't the bisexual that he was experiencing, but it was other sexual fetishes that he was exploring that really irked me the wrong way. And I realized that I just need to accept him, and that there was a part of me that I was uncomfortable with it. It was my own wounds that were playing out. And I realized that I can satisfy myself. I realized that it's really nice for him to... I realized that I can satisfy myself and he can satisfy himself. And I realize that it's really nice when we can satisfy each other. But I recognize that it's not actually our job to satisfy each other. My pleasure is my pleasure. His pleasure is his pleasure. And if I get the satisfaction of being able to please him, then great. But taking the idea that it's our job to please another person, to satisfy another person, is where we're going to fail every single time. We can't make someone happy. We can't do it. We can make people happy for a moment. We can give people happiness for a moment, but it doesn't last. Happiness, satisfaction, pleasure is never going to last if it doesn't first come from self. It has to first come from self. I guess I want to acknowledge what's been missing. Yeah, I guess I want it to be enough for him and myself. His wanting additional partner means I guess that I would want to do the same thing, and I couldn't bring myself to do that. I did change to try to get my own pleasure out of my own self. Guess I want it to be enough for him. Can you be enough for yourself? When you can be enough for yourself, you can be enough for him as well. Why can't you bring yourself to that? Why can't you bring yourself to additional partners? Because I also heard you say above that you want a partner that's going to see you for as you are, not what you do. So I'm hearing two contradicting parts. One part of you wants another partner that's going to see you differently than your husband does. And then there's another part of you that says you can't bring yourself to do that. It doesn't actually matter which way you go. It doesn't actually matter if you stay in the relationship or if you walk out of the relationship. You're going to get the same lesson no matter what. And so often we get so lost in what do I do and how do I choose and where do I go and what path to take. All paths lead to the same home. It's like driving home. You can take 20 different ways back home. It doesn't matter which path you take. It's the same lesson. You're still going to be driving. So just embrace it. Okay. Boundaries have definitely been violated, although I didn't know at the time how to even express them, as I was giving everything to our son and my business and trying to hold it all together for church and school community. And I let him just go be free with drugs and alcohol and that music festival and all the stuff that came with that life. Yeah. I get what that need was, but I actually have more self-respect for myself to allow him to have the loyalty and provide to our marriage. So DM, all of this aside, I want you to close your eyes for a minute. And everyone, you can do this as well. Close your eyes for a minute. And I want you to take a deep breath in. And take a deep breath out. And right now you're in the mind. And I want you to literally move all of this energy from your mind down into your heart. Breathing into your mind and moving and exhaling through the heart. Placing your hands on your heart. Breathing in through your mind. Breathing out through your heart. Breathing down through your heart into your gut. Opening and expanding your gut. Breathing in through your gut and down through your yoni, your lingam, your vagina, your penis, your sex. Connecting all of these parts. Moving the energy down from your head into your heart, down into your gut, into your sex. Moving it all down out of the mind. into the earth. Moving all of this energy back down into the earth through the root. And then coming into your heart, DM and everyone. And listening to your heart right now. What does your heart want? Not your mind. But what does your heart say? What does your heart want? Breathe into that. Now breathe out. And then open up your eyes and come into this space. And tell me, what does your heart want? It's that easy. And hard. It's that easy and that hard. We get so wrapped up in our mind chatter. What is it that your heart wants? Does your heart want to stay in this relationship? Or does your heart want to leave? I'm going to teach you guys something really quick. I have another meeting in 10 minutes, so this will be our meditation. My heart wants only not to hurt right now. Can you embrace the pain? Can you embrace the pain? Can you embrace the hurt as an indicator of just how much you love and just how much you care? That pain that you're feeling, that hurt that you're feeling is an indicator of just how much you love. Your heart is hurting right now because you're not listening. Your heart is hurting right now because it's trying to get your attention. It's saying, listen to me, heal me, heal me, heal me. You have to connect back into your heart and come from a heart place. We have 4 intelligences, okay? We have our head, we have our heart, we have our gut, and we have our sex. Whenever we're trying to make a decision, our head says one thing, our heart says another thing, our gut says another thing, our sex says another thing. I would like to invite you, and I'll do this real quick in meditation. I actually have this meditation on the dashboard that you can listen to. But it's a meditation of listening to each one of these intelligences when making a decision, when trying to find answer, and healing them separately. And then from that place, then allowing them to talk to each other. So maybe your head is saying, run, leave. You've been through enough. How much more are you going to put yourself through? Maybe your heart says, yeah, but love. We've spent so much life together already. And I don't want to give up on love. And maybe your gut says, whatever your gut says, I'm making up. Maybe your gut says, it's, you need to leave. You gotta go. And then you move down to your sex and you say, okay, what does my sex have to say? What does my yoni have to say? And your yoni says, I'm not feeling enough pleasure. I'm not satisfied. And when you isolate all of those, you'll get your answer. So let's do that real quick for a meditation. We'll do that for just a moment. Okay, I'm going to put some music on. And DM, I want to tell you, officially, I'm going to put it in the chat, everyone. My new course is officially launched, an Insight Timer. Heal Heartbreak, Find Love. DM, you've been with me for a while, so I know that you have heard me talk about this. This course is literally made for you, DM. This course is literally made for anyone who's going through any heartache, anyone that's going through any pain, anyone that's trying to manifest their life partner or make their relationship better. This course is designed for anyone who has gone through a breakup or may potentially go through a breakup. This course is designed to help you to heal, to overcome your fears. and to come into true presence with yourself, to create a love that is lasting, a love that you love. And so it's on Insight Timer. I don't think they put it on my dashboard yet. They sent me a link for it yesterday, but I don't think that they've officially approved it. Let me look. Nope. Okay, so it's still waiting for approval, but you can actually listen to the meditation now with that link. So anyone who's experiencing that, you have to be a premium, have a premium account on Insight Timer. If you don't have a premium account, then you can sign up for a free trial. Now for the mental games. I deserve true love and respect with dedication. I got autoimmune issues and led to my healing process and depths of desire for someone I can trust with all of me. Yes. Yes. Yes, that's your truth. So let's real quick, everyone. I'm going to put some music on. I'm going to go on just a little shamanic journey. So everyone close down your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Take a deep breath out through your mouth. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And I want you to bring into awareness somewhere in your life where you're struggling. Some answer that you don't have the answer to. Somewhere in your life where you're trying to make a decision. Where you feel like you're at a crossroads. Bring that into awareness now. And take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. And I want you to bring this question, this problem, this issue up into your head, presenting it to your brain, to your mind, as if you're presenting it to a friend. And then ask your mind, what advice do you have for me? What do you think about this? What do you feel about this? And listen for the answer. And you can either continue this in meditation or you can write this answer down, presenting the issue, and then allowing them to answer. What does your mind say? Take a deep breath in. And take a deep breath out. And when you're ready, knowing that you can come back to this later, come down into your heart and presenting your heart with the issue, the problem, and asking, what advice do you have? What do you think? What do you feel? What do you suggest? And listening for the answer. you're ready, moving down into the gut, knowing that you can always come back later, and presenting your issue, your problem, your confliction to your gut, and asking your gut, what do you suggest? What advice do you have? What do you think? What do you feel? And listen for the answer. And then finally moving down into your sex and presenting your sex with the issue, the problem, and asking for advice, asking for suggestions, asking what they think, what they feel, and listening for the answer. And now noticing the 4 different voices, the 4 different characters that played out, that had 4 different advices, 4 different suggestions. And if those 2 intelligences that seemed to contradict each other, feel free to invite them to have a conversation. Maybe your heart has a conversation with your gut, where your heart expresses what it feels and your gut expresses what it feels until you have resolution. And breathe in. And know that you can come back to this exercise at your own time, thanking all of the intelligences for their advice, their words, their suggestions. And notice what clarity, what answer, what feels right now. Did your answer come? Do you have deeper clarity? Breathe in, breathe out. Taking another deep breath in, taking another deep breath out, and come back in. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Please feel free to put in the chat, what did your mind say? What did your heart say? What did your sex say? What did your gut say? What clarity do you have now? Let me know what feedback you have. All feedback is good feedback. I haven't done any coursework yet. We'll sign up for Primo. Thank you for allowing me to get it out. Yes. Beautiful. And DM, please feel free to send me a message. Any of you guys, send me a message. If anyone is interested in one-on-one coaching, I have very limited spots available. I only have 2 spots available for coaching memberships. I'm all about my relationships, so I don't accept 20 clients. I don't accept 10 clients. I limit myself to 5 clients at one time so that I have enough energy to give to everyone. So if you resonate with my coaching and my teachings and you feel like I can really serve you and help you, I would love to serve you. I would love to help you. I would love to help you to heal and to love deeper and to connect deeper with spirit and to really feel home. If you feel home with me, And you're like, that's my people right there. That's my people. And you've been following me for a while. Don't wait. Reach out to me. I'm here to support you. I'm here to love you. I'm here to show you how loved you are, how wanted you are, how adored you are, how cared you are. I won't abandon you. I promise I will not abandon you. I will hold your hand for every single step that you need. I'm here. So reach out. You can find me on social media, Jenna Rose Giannetti, on Instagram, on Facebook. Check out my website, Jenna Rose Giannetti, jennarosegiannetti.everything. Check, this will go on YouTube after. Again, Jenna Rose Giannetti. It's not that hard to find me. Just know my name. If you know my name, then you're good. And I'm here for you guys. So, and then check out my course on Insight Timer. It will be very good. All right, guys, I love you. I'm 3 minutes late for another coaching call right now. So let's close down this circle really quick. If you enjoyed this, please make sure to follow. If you resonated and got value out of today, feel free to give a donation. If you're feeling generous, if you're feeling that you have the ability to do that. And let's close on our eyes, placing our hands in front of our heart. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Thanking everyone for their vulnerability, their openness, their authenticness. Bowing down with me. Namaste. For my soul recognizes your soul, that we are one soul in many bodies. Beautiful. I love you guys. I will see you guys on Friday. I'll talk to you guys soon.